I'm Alan Spears with Occupy Democrats, and it is a good day to be a Democrat. As in some breaking news, Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota and official running mate of Kamala Harris, just went on to Fox News and exposed that the Republicans are having a complete mental breakdown about Donald Trump. Over the past few days, we've seen the Harris campaign, alongside Governor Walz now as well, absolutely just steamroll over the rest of the Republicans and Donald Trump's campaign. The energy and the optimism that the Harris-Walz campaign has managed to stoke once more, especially within Democrats, has been incredible to see. It's truly like the 2008 campaign of President Obama, but possibly even greater. The fact that we've seen miles of traffic stretching out trying to get in to see Harris and Walz speaks wonders to the excitement and the real enthusiasm that Democrats and undecided independents and even some Republicans are experiencing. It's truly an incredible moment. But of course, this energy and excitement on the Democratic side is only one part of this tale, as Republicans, especially Trump himself, seem to be absolutely flailing. Over the past few days, we have seen Trump and his campaign absolutely plummet in the polls, as now in every major national poll, he is falling behind Harris by at least 2 to 3 points. Some polls have him even further behind. Now, while of course polls aren't an exact science and there is a rather large margin of error, and unfortunately, as we saw in 2016, polls can be rather incredibly wrong, I think it's safe to say that a vast majority of Americans are genuinely excited and happy to support Harris, whereas many Americans who did support Trump did so out of a reluctance or perhaps had their own personal grievances with President Biden. But I do believe it is safe to say that the vast majority of Americans now do see the Harris-Walz ticket as a better tomorrow, a bright and shiny future. Unfortunately, or perhaps fortunately for us, the Republicans are starting to panic and lose their minds as Trump's ratings plummet. Fox News, along with the rest of the usual suspects of far-right news media outlets, are trying to do damage control and try to sling mud, especially at Walz and his military record, which, again, all of their accusations of him having stolen valor or not being a real veteran have been tangibly proven false. And Walz, proving that he is indeed a soldier at heart and not afraid to dive headfirst into enemy territory, decided to do an interview on Fox News himself, and that is what brings us into our breaking story today. Now, in this interview, the Fox News hosts sort of begin to panic as Walz completely lambasts them for totally tying themselves to Donald Trump and his rhetoric. Clearly, the Republicans are having a bit of buyer's remorse, it would seem, especially as the poll numbers reflect Americans overwhelmingly rejecting Donald Trump and his message of hatred and bigotry. So go ahead and see for yourself what Walz had to say about Republicans completely identifying themselves with Trump and his personality and how it is quickly coming to bite them in the ass.
Look, the process has always been there. I welcome, if Sean or anybody wants to become a DNC delegate, you're welcome to. But what I know is Democrats are ready to move when the situation warrants it. Look, it doesn't matter convictions. It doesn't matter failed policies. Republican Party stuck with Donald Trump. He's yours. You've got him. Welcome to it. Democratic Party can make our decisions. We pick our nominee. Look, if you don't like it, don't vote for it in November. But I think the American public are going to see they knew that this administration was delivering. We knew that as far as economic numbers placed against global numbers, America's in a far better shape. And we also know that a foreign policy that respects our alliances, not cozying up to dictators like Putin and Orban, is not the way to go.
How about this one, Governor?
J.D. Vance, mind your own business is what I would tell them. We'll manage it.
You know, I love how they're just desperately there at the end trying to... Oh, hold on. We got to talk about something else. It's such a classic Fox News maneuver to just speak over your guests whenever they're making a point that clearly contradicts their own narrative. It's so typical of them. But Walz is absolutely dead on. Republicans have forfeited what semblance of identity they had prior to Donald Trump and have become the party of bigotry and hatred. Anyone who's dared to stand up against Donald Trump publicly has basically had their career completely destroyed, as fellow Republicans allowed Trump and his cohorts to just wreck their party. And you see Republicans like Nikki Haley, who spent months and years railing against Donald Trump, saying that the Republican Party was better than this, that she was going to go on and beat this horrible man, but then turns around and bends the knee to this wannabe fascist. There is very good reasons as to why most Americans utterly loathe these spineless cowards of Republicans. And at this point, the Republican Party has no identity beyond Donald Trump. If he were to suddenly drop out of the race or disappear, Republicans, as we know them, would probably disintegrate and fracture into God knows how many different sub-parties. But until Donald Trump drops out or is no longer in politics as a whole, we can enjoy Tim Walz and his unbelievable charisma and bravery for going on to Fox News and enduring their stupidity.